Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome. And my name is Coach Sean. I'm with Score Tennis Academy, and I have my partners in from RSG, and they are the compadres that are helping me and helping the team and leading the charge and helping us get everything built out in the Rockland, Clarence area. I've been very grateful to have met these two gentlemen, and as you're going to get to meet them today, it's been a very positive experience for me, and I'm so excited as we get to build. I think now 100 tennis courts out in the Rockland area. I think it was the last number, right, guys?
Whoa, close.
Yeah, well, we didn't get to 100. Okay, well, we're getting close to about 40 courts when you add up the different types of courts we're bringing in now and being able to go outside.
The opportunities there.
The opportunity, yeah, absolutely. So thanks for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. And maybe just quick introductions. Maybe let the team know who, or the people listening, who you are and what you're doing and how you're seeing the project and kind of what got you involved. And I'll let you gentlemen decide who wants to start.
Hi, my name is Brad Cartier. Background is in real estate development and marketing. Bunch of businesses in the Clarence Rockland area, campground, bunch of apartment buildings. So everything is real estate related. Met Aaron about 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And we formed a couple businesses together, including a brewery and Hammond Hill, which is a 62-acre glamping park, a couple commercial buildings, some residential buildings. And we had this opportunity to partner with you on the sports side. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that, but I'll let Aaron introduce himself.
Yeah, nice. Thanks for having me, Aaron Markel. Again, Brad and I do a lot of stuff together, probably too many things. We also own a tiny home construction company, which has really taken off a lot of steam over the last little bit.
That's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, I think that'll kind of segue into a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about today. But I think the really interesting thing for me in tennis, and you guys know my backstory a bit, but I went to tennis school. I went to the Voluntary Academy. I guess it's
IMG now,
right?
Yeah.
So many moons ago. I'd rather not say how many years, but I went there for 2 years, and
You were pretty good.
I was pretty good, but not where your son is, to put to somewhere on there. But it was a great experience. The difficulty thing for me at the time was my folks were living in East Africa, so back then we didn't have email and Wi-Fi and all this stuff. So it was a very challenging time to leave home at 13 years old and travel across the world. And I think being able to build some version of that academy, some version of a training facility for not just tennis, but pickle and paddle and all different types of sports, and for Canadians to be able to stay home, right? And not have to travel to the US where the dollar is crazy and there's a lot of uncertainty with, the changes that are coming. I think that's really been the core of what's excited me about this program is to be able to kind of offer what I had in Florida, but in a local, Canadian dynamic where you still have our Canadian education system and healthcare. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I'm really proud to be a part of that component of this in particular.
Nice. You talked about the tiny homes, so maybe we'll start with Hammond Hill, right? And so Hammond Hill, we kind of, over the last month and a half and maybe you gentlemen have been thinking about this for a long time, but you let me in on it about a month and a half or a month ago. And Hammond Hill is now kind of in play for us to build some outdoor stuff and do some fascinating, really cool stuff out there as well, but not only for tennis and pickleball and paddle, but potentially beach volleyball and beach tennis and these tiny homes. Can you talk about softball, soccer, whatever you want to do? You have 60 acres, right? So can you talk about what your gentlemen's thoughts are around the Hammond Hill facility first? And with the Champions Playground, because that would be part of the Champions Playground. We're still growing athletes out there.
Yeah, maybe I'll start just by giving a little bit of history of Hammond Hill. So we launched Hammond Hill during COVID, actually.
Good timing.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. We'll talk about that another time. But we've invested a lot of infrastructure and time and blood, sweat, and tears into the property. It was just vacant land when we first leased the property, but have since put in kilometers of trails. We've dug lakes. We put in welcome shack. We put in a bunch of sports facilities there already. And the cornerstone to Hammond Hill is really the tiny home village that Aaron and his team built up there. Fully functional little town of 12 tiny homes currently. We are expanding those, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. But to be able to provide sort of an alternative accommodations was really important to us, especially with tiny homes that are a smaller footprint, a lot more eco-friendly.
Yeah.
So actually, when we first started building tiny homes up there, We hadn't formed our tiny home company just yet, but we had so many people approach us, say, "Hey, these things are so cool. I want one in my backyard." Yeah. So Aaron and Brad did what we do best, and we started another business. So
that's cool.
That's kind of the genesis of all that.
And I can tell you, I've stayed there. Those beds are so comfortable.
Yeah.
Beats being on the ground, let me tell you. So awesome. Thank you. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add too that what made sense, to kind of go back to my academy experience was, we were always going to build tennis courts, and we always knew that we'd have a facility where people could come and train year round, which is really important in our climate, obviously. Then we started thinking about, you've always been a proponent of these amazing tournament opportunities and, these coaching days where you can bring out Babolat or, insert vendor here and do these great vendor days. But well, what's missing from just the indoor tennis facility is an accommodation. And I thought, well, we have an accommodation with 60 acres.
Yeah.
It's flat. It's next to a golf course. It's literally 10 minutes door to door from where the indoor facility would be. And like it's the next logical step. Like we're an event destination location. So why not have these tennis courts? Why not have something for the community to take part in, A, and B, when you organize these great tournaments where people come from all over Canada, conceivably the US. Now we have somewhere where they can actually stay on the facility, and that brings me full circle to my voluntary days, right? Where I woke up and I walked to tennis. Yeah. I didn't have to get in my car and go across traffic and, so.
No, it's awesome.
It's the next logical step, right? We have space for another 150 tiny homes. We're building different size models, kind of with this idea in mind where maybe even some of your students want to live there for 3 months and train for the summer. So that's kind of the evolution. And because we're doing it collectively, your vision and our vision becomes the bigger vision, and it actually becomes better. So
no, it's very cool. And I was at home last night. I'm starting to work. I'm not very technically savvy. As you saw me trying to set up the room here, but I was trying to build out my website a little bit and get it more geared toward what's coming, right? And one of the thoughts is like, there's kids that are going to want to stay here. Right? They could just sleep here. They could just stay here. They can go to school here. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it, but we have a potential partnership with a high school coming down on one of our properties. That's pretty cool. But before we get there, these tiny homes, tell me about them. Are they going to be available to anybody? Are we going to, what's the plan there? Can we rent them? What's the idea?
Yeah. So our secret power we're an eco campground. We think one of the first in the world, to be fair. But our secret power is the tiny homes are fully functional year round. So we never shut down, which makes us a very unique campground, in particular in the Great White North, where when we typically run, most campgrounds are running, that kind of summer, fall season.
Bug season.
Exactly. But we're able to be open year rounds, which is amazing. They're fully insulated. They have heat pumps in there, so it's super comfortable. Our smallest models sleep 4. So then that iteration where maybe a family's coming to a tennis tournament, the parents have their own bed, the kid has his own bed, and they're in a unit that's 160 square feet. Yeah. Right. So they have a kitchenette, they have a bathroom, they have an outdoor deck, they have their own barbecue, they have outdoor space. They can swim in the lakes, they can do all the other fun stuff that exists there. Yeah. Some of the bigger models that we're
and you're 20 minutes from Ottawa.
So 20 minutes from Ottawa, right? And honestly, an hour from Montreal.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in the middle of this great throughway of many different communities and areas. So with the bigger models that we're coming up with, one of the thoughts was that I have seen, and again, when I go back to my voluntary days a lot, but I remember at voluntary, there were younger children that stayed there, but they stayed there with a parent. Yeah. So maybe a mom would come and live with them. So our bigger models are now there to accommodate, still in a tiny footprint, but in a larger space where mom and little Johnny have their own space, and they have their own kind of, community area as well. So we're just looking at what happened in the past and what we can do to make it better and kind of slot into that and be ready.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. And so what else could be at the Hill? So we talked about tennis. Obviously, I'm a tennis guy. I love it. We got pickleball coming up there, which is just going to be unbelievable. Everything I see about pickleball, the sport's just growing like crazy. Everybody can play. I'm thinking about gigantic tournaments up there. Did I hear something crazy? We're licensed on the Hill? Yeah. So I think people can have some fun.
It's the most important thing.
Fully licensed. Again, we're one of the only campgrounds I know of in Ontario that's licensed. Yeah. We're very fortunate to also own a microbrewery. So we serve our own, and we have an award-winning beer named after the Hill that we serve up there for obvious reasons.
That's cool.
So you have kind of that like kids playground, adult playground type atmosphere. We do community events where we'll do large-scale events. We have bands playing all the time. So the Friday, Saturday, Sunday is always a lot of fun to be up there. Yeah. and now you're incorporating a
tournaments and all that stuff. Yeah,
it's a natural fit,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
And we've got the food truck coming in for this summer as
Yeah.
well. So that food component we didn't have before, but
is that still with the Cordon Bleu chef running the menu, or that's different now? Or do we still have access to that? I remember there was a Cordon Bleu chef that was doing some food.
Yeah, so
when I was up there, the burgers were unbelievable.
we did some menu development with him.
Okay.
We're pivoted to more of it's a barbecue business, so
Gotcha.
we pivoted to a traditional barbecue restaurateur that
Gotcha.
specializes in smoking meat, right?
Wonderful.
So, But we did do menu development, so we have the genesis of the menu was done in conjunction with a very smart, talented chef.
Yeah.
But now we're going to implement a smoking program, which
Gotcha.
seems a little bit strange, but you know what I'm saying? Barbecue program.
That's awesome, man. I'm sure we can find some healthy snacks for the kids there as well, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. I love that. So thank you, guys. If you don't mind, we can come back to the hill, but let's pivot to the facility down at the river. So the indoor facility. Take us through that. What's happening there? Where were you in steps? Just so that the team knows and people watching are like, hey, what's going on with that indoor facility, right? So I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, so we signed the memorandum of understanding with the city last year, which you were there.
Part of, yeah.
And since then, the bulk of the time since signing the MOU has been on all the legal documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a partnership with the city, there is a bunch of legal frameworks that have to be in place.
Always
kind of like a triple P public-private partnership. So it's actually going to be a shared facilities agreement with the city, just to ensure that the community has access to it, and the local community has a discount, and that they can use it.
That's important to us.
Yeah.
By the way, right?
Absolutely.
It's a big community play as well. Right?
Yeah. So right now we're just finalizing the final agreements with the city, and then we're hoping to break ground in the spring.
Nice, wonderful. And the facility itself, like I know what's going in, or I think I know what's going in, but I know from a tennis perspective, we're going to have 4 indoor courts. We're going to share with pickleball now because we've believe we have a partnership with beach volleyball, right?
Yeah, we've been exploring a partnership with a beach volleyball group here in Ottawa, which we're very excited about, and the city is as well. Just more offerings, right?
More offerings, more people. Yeah, come play in the sand. I can bring my Tonka trucks.
Yeah.
I don't think you're pretty good at beach volleyball.
Many moons ago, yes.
Many moons ago, okay.
I do want to touch back on the community aspect of this, which has always been really core to everything we do. Brad and I both live inside of this community. You grew up in Rockland, if I'm not mistaken, and you only live, 20 minutes away now?
20 minutes away, yeah.
I think when we approached the city...
It was my first home. That's why I bought my first home.
Yeah, so it means we all have that community tie. When we approached the city, one of the goals of this was not just to build a tennis academy. The goal was to improve our community and our city. And I think that we can do that by having active offerings where the community is available to have a discount, as Brad mentioned. They're committed to a certain amount of time allocations for the community of people in certain postal codes. And by offering other sports, it just increases the visibility. It increases the opportunity for young boys and girls to get into and try something that they may never have been exposed to at any other level.
Yeah.
And I think that's when we went to the city with, hey, we're considering a small pivot to maybe introducing beach volleyball. They're like, well, we love it because why not? They have in their mind, and I think, I don't want to speak for the city, but I think they love the idea of being kind of a sports-centric hub. And again, because we're so close to Montreal and we have Ottawa, we can kind of be this mashing ground. Across the river is Gatineau. We have all these different
ferry
areas.
right there. Get ready to Gatineau. Yeah,
they can just jump in and we can become this centralized hub. They want to do other sports there as well, and we would like to be able to help that. So
yeah. No, that's awesome. And even myself, I mean, the title of the show is called Building a Champions Playground, right? So building champions to me means many things, right? But obviously we're going to provide world-class facilities everywhere I go. I won't work unless we could do it, because it's just so important to me to show the world what we can do in Canada, how we can develop these kids from any age, any group. And yes, we may see some pro players come out of there eventually, which would be really cool, right? But can we take a 5-year-old and make them really good? Or can we take a kid who's 10 to 12 or 14 years of age and help them become the human being that they're going to be in the future? And that's really important to me. And that starts with the community, because we're not going to start by importing thousands of kids. It's going to start with inside the community, right? My first goal is to get 200 kids into our camps, little ones, start playing, start learning, be part of the system. And so it's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait for that facility to be shovels in the ground and then up and running in a year or so. It's going to be awesome. So thanks, guys, for working on that piece. And then anything else you want to add about the location down there? Anything else you guys want to think is important?
I think just to touch on what's going to be inside. So we've got the tennis and pickleball offering. We've got the beach volleyball offering as well. There will be food offering and an elevated, viewing area at the center of the property.
And I understand you can overlook both sides, right?
Yeah, overlook both sides. Yeah. So good. It'll be good for group events as well. And then we'll have a number of different office spaces for sports adjacent businesses in the community.
Physio,
things like that.
Nice.
Possibly a gym, things that make sense in this space.
Yeah, it can't be possibly.
Mandatory gym.
Even if it's just a performance gym. But it's nice to see how maybe we can integrate the design for community use as well.
And it's not just about supporting the community residents, and that's a big part of it, but local businesses as well, giving them an opportunity to have a place where they can run their businesses and have clientele literally right on site. Yeah,
that's very cool. And the other piece too is thinking about businesses and not necessarily just sports, Bourget. So let's talk about the train station, because that's a pretty cool project on its own, sitting on the Trans-Canada Nature Trail walkway, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about that. What are your thoughts there? Because that's, I don't know how much building a champion is going to happen out there, but it could be for something else or different. Or what are your thoughts, guys?
Can I just jump back to one piece on where this academy is going to be?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, you're going to do it anyways.
Yeah, for sure. One of the really interesting things, and it highlights Clarence Rockland is a really unique community because it's entirely built along the Ottawa River. But the community, when it was designed, put no stock in having any amenities adjacent to or near the river. So this academy, like if you were to stand on the roof, you'd see the river. You could probably throw a football to it.
Yeah.
They are. It sounds like the community in the city is in the process of developing more infrastructure to support that. So we are right on the main highway. So access in and out is incredibly easy. As they develop the river walk and develop more amenities around there, we will actually be in a perfect position for parents when they're dropping off their kids to go for a beautiful walk along what is a gorgeous river.
Yeah.
In addition, we're immediately adjacent to a hockey arena that trains high-performance hockey athletes through the CIH program. So now you have multidisciplinary opportunities for maybe the son in hockey
crossover.
And the dog. So this thing just makes a ton of sense, and it expands the hub. There's some new schooling coming in that may also have some sports-centric opportunities. So it really is the location. When they say location, in this case, right off the highway, we are at the path of progress to what will be an amazing development over the next 25 years, which will really highlight...
Well, I got to slow down the aging process.
But I hope I make it. But it highlights one of the things that makes Clarence Rockland really unique that they've never highlighted before. There's one park that overlooks the river on the entire run. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful spot.
Yes.
Remember when the first time we walked out and you guys said, well, there's 2 more locations. I'm like, doesn't matter. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Beautiful indigenous trees, oaks and maples. And you have the foliage change in the fall. It's an amazing location.
Yeah. So I don't, and you guys can just go, don't talk about it. But phase 2 there, right? What are the thoughts? And I know it's ways out, right? And may not happen. But right now it's in the plans. What are you guys thinking with phase 2? Just an expansion, more sports? What are you thinking there?
So we have the opportunity to develop a larger facility on a plot
just on that property, right?
Adjacent to where we're doing phase 1. We're calling it phase 2. But really right now we are laser focused on phase 1. So it's a future opportunity where we could build a larger facility or different amenities there as well in partnership with the city. But right now, the focus for the next 2 years is really this phase 1.
Nice. I love it. I have an interesting question here. I think I asked the 2 of you because I kind of have my answer towards this, and thank you for that very legal answer.
Very thoughtful.
And the train station, you forgot.
No, I started talking about it and I kind of went off topic and got back to you. So maybe you got to keep the host in line, right? So maybe
which is harder said than done.
What about the train station? Go ahead. Why don't you take us on the train station ride?
You want to start on the train station?
Oh, you didn't have an answer, did you?
No, I can. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's awesome.
The train station's a project we've been working on for about 2 years. We were approached by some municipal leadership at the city of Clarence Rockland again, because the location of it is Bourget, but it falls under the municipality. Yeah. They had a property that was over 100 years old that is an old train station, literally, but it had been falling apart and is falling apart to this day. They've had to inject a substantial amount of capital to make sure it remains safe and
standing.
Exactly. And they were always looking at what could possibly be done. So they approached us because they knew we were kind of in the development space and we were doing the Hammond Hill down the street. And they said, is something that would interest you? And right away, it's like we went and took a look at it. Within a week, we went and looked at it, and the answer was yes. It was an amazing opportunity to do something really, again, community-centric. This is not as much a business move as it is to really advance a community through reimagining what the train station could be going forward into our current times and building standards. So we're going to take the existing structure. It's going to unfortunately have to be demolished because it is kaput. We are going to be salvaging several of the really cool Dora features. There's a bunch of amazing beams that are literally century-old beams.
Yeah.
That we're going to reintegrate into our design so that as you walk into the new train station, it'll be very train-centric for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
You will still have that feel, like the outside design is still going to feel as if you're approaching a train station. It happens to sit right on the Trans-Canada path, which is an amazing pathway that connects our entire country. It is
really. I did not know that. It goes all the way across the
sea. Yeah.
Wow. I did not. Walking
you can
trail.
Walk it. It's a bike trail. In the winter, it's open to skidoos.
I didn't know that. Wow.
So I think that goes back to the whole not sporting but wellness, active lifestyle element that we're trying to promote at Hammond Hill with the tennis academy, the community centric thing. The train station is exactly that as well.
Wow, I did not know that. That's cool. I knew it was Trans-Canada, but I thought it was just Ottawa.
No, the whole kit and caboodle.
Nice. So continue. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So we've partnered there with the Trail Association, who have done a lot of work and raised a lot of money to add in amazing gazebos and infrastructure along the way. We did recognize that it is lacking of a substantial kind of anchor establishment, right? Something where you could stop and maybe stay the night. Maybe you could stop and at least have a meal. Some of these long bike rides, people are going 200 kilometers and there's nothing to do other than stop for a washer break. So
gotcha. Yeah.
We kind of saw this as an opportunity to maybe have a bike repair shop. We will probably have a reimagination of our brewery and have some beer offerings and a snack food kind of menu.
Yeah.
We really want to build a few tiny homes as accommodations in the shape of a caboose. We're kind of thinking.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah.
I think that's just really neat, right?
Yeah.
So Brad's been in conversation with Via Rail, and I'll let him kind of expand on that. But we see this, again, because everything is really within 15 minutes of each other, whether it's the hill, the train station, where the tennis academy is going to be, we can kind of branch a bunch of kind of what would be disparate businesses and branch them together under a family banner.
Yeah.
And it makes the offering that much more interesting. Why not when you're coming for a tournament? Like, why wouldn't the parents want somewhere fun to be? I mean, these tournaments, as a dad, and traveling to some of these things, they get kind of boring.
Yeah.
But you know what? Why not go to a tournament and stay at a train-themed hotel, right? Like you have all these really cool things. Right? Or stay at the hill. Yeah. Or stay at the train, ride your bike to the hill for the tournament. There's all these really neat synergies that exist, and we didn't actually see it until
it's great for the whole family, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah.
And just having the conversation with you and recognizing that there's opportunities, and maybe down the road there's some extra land. Maybe we put up some tennis courts up there as well. Like
even just community based.
Even community based, something to do for the community. So
pickleball, tennis, right? Something.
I think that's all really
some sand for the beach, guys.
Yeah. Beach volleyball of all the sports to build.
It's easy.
Easiest one. So
well, we're really just asphalt.
Asphalt, boards, lights, lines, and fences.
All right, we're a little more complicated. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I say a month and a half. It could have been a shorter time, but I love how this all got pulled together and the vision becomes this circular opportunity for not only the community, but if I'm from Montreal, I want to come play. I want to come to a league. I want to play tournaments. I can stay there. I can hang out. I can bring my family, right? And we're getting world-class coaching. I mean, the beach volleyball team they're not slouches. Right. What we're doing in my organization with the team that I'm putting in place is not slouches. I mean, I partnered with Gata Tennis, which is, they do the analytics for Novak Djokovic, who you may have heard of, right? And other pros. My mentor, Heath Waters, is just simply an unbelievable coach. His record in bio just speaks for itself. Great friends and partners like John Williams, who's currently coaching Taylor Townsend, who's top 50 in the world, top 8 in doubles. And that's not even his premier side he's a great coach, but his performance side is unbelievable. What he's doing with my athletes is just, so what we're doing together in this is just unbelievable for the community as a whole. And I think we talked about earlier, it's community based, but we're going to have a lot of people come in, especially with the accommodation. Yeah. Right. That's really cool. And I think, for me personally, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have worked with you guys and be able to build this vision. Right. And I know we're still getting input, but we've been pretty focused on our vision. Right. But we still we're very open to listening to people, I think, right. And say, okay, what's that idea? How's that work? How can we fit in? Right. We're very collaborative. And I think you guys have had that approach from day one when I met you. right? How can we bring people into, and we talked about, remember, 19 companies and having a collaborative approach, working together and supporting each other. And that's how this whole thing has been since day one, right? I don't know if you gentlemen agree, maybe I'm off on that, but that's kind of, it's a very collaborative approach, working together, but with a very set vision.
Yeah.
Right? With a very set vision.
And I think I want to go back to one thing you said actually really a long time ago when we first started thinking about the academy, because we always thought about that high-end athlete. But, and to just kind of tie into the summer camps you ran in Rockland this year. One of the things that excited me is that although we would love to produce the next, I don't know, Eugenie Bouchard, or we'd love to produce that next world-class athlete, you are still at the grassroots level producing great people, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And you're then producing great players, and not all of them are going to go off and become number one in the world.
No.
But your kids are leaving with opportunities for university scholarships all over the world, all through the U.S.
Yeah.
They're leaving with a lifelong love of a sport that they will play ideally until they're 75, and maybe then they transition to pickleball.
Right? Sorry, pickleball.
But,
just kidding. Yeah. We love you.
But that's part of the thing I think is really exciting. That this is not specifically for the ultra high-end athlete at all. And I think the genius of the way you run your program is that you can introduce a young person at 10, 12. They can maybe move into that next upper tier based on their commitment and their desire.
Right. That's right.
But they can still stay in that kind of, this is just fun.
Yes.
This is just a great way to spend a summer camp or, a March break event or whatever
after
that looks
school,
like.
whatever it is. Yeah.
And I think that's, and I've been to a lot of your coaching sessions, and I love seeing that their kids are laughing. They are communicating and interacting with kids that are, 10 years older than them in some cases. Yeah. And some of your better players have transitioned into coaches. Yeah. And to me, that's a really beautiful synergy of building community. I think that's that's the word of the day for me, right? So, and on the tennis side, and we're looking to do the exact same thing on the beach volleyball when we have those conversations. This isn't the next Karch Karai. These are the next community members. Let's send kids off to university. Yeah. Let's make the sport better with better people. So I think I love it. I just wanted to make that comment because I've seen it now firsthand. I've been to a lot of your sessions, and every time I go, that's the thing that strikes me. Not how good the kids are, is how much they're enjoying. They're training for 6 hours a day, these kids, in the summer, in the heat, and no one's complaining.
No.
They're stopping.
You might hear them complaining under their breath a little bit. Oh, this is another sprint,
but it's I saw kids leave their break early in the heat of summer to go hit serves. That tells me they love it, and I know because I went to tennis school, and at the end I didn't love it anymore. So I know what the other end looks like. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. It's a life passion for me. Right. And yes, I want to sit in the box at Wimbledon with world number one as a coach. That would be the ultimate vision or goal for me. However, I'm also very, very proud over the last 15 years that every kid has come through our program, right, has ended up, who's all of them in the full-time program and offered scholarships. Whether they take them or not, they've been offered the scholarship, right? But the cool piece is they're accountants, they're lawyers, they're doctors, they're professionals. And not that's at the end all and be all, because I don't care what you do, just do it the best you can, right? But it's just very, very satisfying to see these kids go in that direction and know that you had a positive influence in their life.
And I bet you're still playing tennis.
Most of them are still playing tennis. Yeah, most of them are still playing tennis. Some are very busy in med school and doing that fun stuff. But there's like my son right now can't even look at a tennis racket, right? Because he's busy in law school right now. So it's like, forget it, Dad. I can't do anything. Can't even work right now. So it is what it is. But it's very, very satisfying, right, to see these kids go through that pathway. And I'm sure it's going to be the same with pickleball as we get through it, because pickleball will become a programmed sport. Right, there will be programming for it.
It has to. It's too popular.
It's gonna grow. Yeah. And volleyball, obviously. I mean, that's so popular. And beach volleyball is really, really cool. I'm sure they're going to build amazing programs. It has nothing to do with me and what I'm doing, but the people that we've brought on seem the same. They seem very, very passionate, and that's kind of the wherewithal what they want to do. Although they did mention something about Friday night parties and loud music in the dome or in the facility. So that's more on your side. We'll get the licensing going and have them have fun. But very, very exciting times.
Cross training opportunities with between beach, tennis, hockey, pickleball, whatever it is. There's some really interesting opportunities there. So I think that's something we're pretty excited about.
Yeah, and I love the family aspect. Yeah. Right? I think you mentioned boy, girl, boy, daughter, son, whatever the case may be. Daughter comes in to play hockey with CIH Academy, but the son comes over and wants to play tennis or wants to train beach volleyball, right? So now you can and then they can stay with us if they need to, right? So it's unbelievable.
And even I always thought about the hockey parents go to watch their kid. Maybe they, one of the parents wants to get some exercise and they go walk around the track. Maybe they go play 30 minutes of pickleball while their son is training. Like, what a great thing to do. Like, what a great way to make the community more active and to just have an offering. Or maybe you just go and grab a beer and you watch other people play. Like,
sit down and relax. So stop stressing about your kid.
Something a little bit different, right? So
Yeah. No, that's cool. Hey, can we talk about potential investments for people? And I know I don't want to spread that out on like where we're trying to grab, but just what are the opportunities? Like, is there an opportunity for people to get involved? Is it just friends and family right now? Like, what's the story there? What's the play?
Yeah, so we're raising from friends and family at the moment to try to bring this vision to fruition. What we're really looking for is partners.
Yeah.
Again, like beach volleyball is a perfect example, but we have this sort of board of advisors around us who all bring something different to the table. So if whether you're an accountant or a lawyer, or you have experience in a certain sports, or you have a group that you want to get involved, definitely reach out to us, because we're looking, I forget who said it, but like we're stronger with more people around us, and we're happy to have other smart people in the room.
Yeah, it's collaborative.
It's for sure collaborative.
Yeah.
So we're looking for contributors at this point. So I would encourage people to, if the vision resonates with anyone, I would encourage them to reach out.
Perfect. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that if it's okay with you guys, I'll put your contact information in the comments, or wherever we can, wherever this video, it's going to be on YouTube for sure, on our YouTube channel, but I'll make sure the comments where you can be reaced are there. So people have questions or comments, or Ruby Marks even, because we'll accept everything. Yeah. I think you had to go to a Ruby Mark evening one time, right? And because anytime, it's not in my backyard, folks. So anytime it's getting built, you get people who are always, hey, what's going on? We should be doing this, but progress.
I think just to further up on what Brad said too, I think we've really been pretty focused on not just bringing in money. Like, we can bring in money tomorrow. That's not the hard part. Yeah. It's bringing in the right people partners. with some collaboration, with some skin in the game is obviously very important. But we want to make sure that when we sit at a table and the board of advisors is 8, 10, 12 people, that the vision and the passion for what we're doing, first and foremost, is a key driver of how we move this forward. Is not, I don't want to sit there and just talk about numbers, how we're going to make tons of money. It's like, no, how do we make our community better? How do we drive these programs? How do we improve the overall offering? And if we can get a room with 8, 10 people that are of that ilk, of that mindset, with specialities in different areas, that's how we end up with a world-class facility. If it's all about the money, it ain't going to work. No. I can tell you right now.
No, that goes away.
That's right. And we will end up making sacrifices on things that we probably should reconsider.
Yeah.
But money drives, in most cases, a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah.
So we really want to make sure that passion exists in the group. It doesn't have to be the same passion, and that's why volleyball is interesting, because they see it differently. But they're still passionate about their sport and advancing it.
Yeah.
That makes a great sports hub. So we're currently talking to some softball people who would love to put a softball diamond up there, because apparently there's a shortage of fields that have accommodations that people can stay. So we
that's a big piece. That's a big piece.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that all of these larger academies and facilities down to the south of
Florida,
that's what they've done really well. They've identified the fact that the tournament, the actual tennis matches of two, is only the very first component. The second component is, there's something to eat. Is there something to do? Is there something to stay? And if you can hit these, well, A, you'll be more profitable, and B, these group that have come to these are like, we're going back. And they're pre-booking the tournament at the tournament. I mean, that's the cruise ship model, right? You're on the cruise ship and they're selling you your next cruise. And they see that because they've made it such a unique experience. Yeah. And that's really the word, right? Like, it's like, have you made a great experience for the kids? Whether they win, lose, draw, it doesn't matter.
And sometimes, have you made that experience for the parents? The parents want to go back.
Right. Yeah. And the sisters and the brothers that are dragging these things, like, this is great, Dad. Let's book again.
Yeah, we didn't have to watch little Johnny just play tennis or volleyball. We went to the train station and we talked. Yeah, that's awesome. I love the way you're thinking there, my friend. And it's amazing because I know with us, we play a lot down in Florida. To take the high-end kids down in Florida, and we play a tournament called Bala Boca. And like, I'm already booked for 5 weeks over the next 5 months for kids to go down there, because it's the experience of getting to play the higher level.
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
right? Which we'll do here too, right? But it's pretty cool. Like we're already booked. I'm booked February 20th and booked March X, and you know, we'll make it around Racket X, right? But it's amazing. And really cool. A brag story is that my mentor just hired me to coach his kids, so that's why I'm going down there to. So it's pretty cool. It's come full circle, and I actually get to make money back. I'll never make it back as much as what I paid out, but you know, I get some of it back. So it's pretty cool. But now my kids are like, they'll plan that same thing. So the experience for them is that tournament.
Yeah.
But when you come to our facility, it's going to be the overall, not just a tournament, but everything else that's around it.
Yeah.
It's
right.
the package.
Yeah. Yeah.
We actually opened up a company called Rethink Experience last year, and the company's specific design was event planning. Because we didn't know that all this was coming, but we did see that the future of the Hill and other large enterprise, the train station, is all going to be around the experience, right? So making sure that when people come, they have food in their tiny house, and they have events planned, they have horseback riding, whatever the case may be. You know, we started out with summer camps, which were very successful. We ran a market program, but as we're introducing more sports opportunities, now not only do you want to run a tennis program or a tournament, or you're from Montreal, you don't have to plan it anymore.
Yeah.
Now we have in-house planning staff that can round out the entire offering.
Yeah.
Right. So how many rooms you need to book, what kind of food, are there any allergies?
And that's set up now, right? That's ready to go. Yeah.
But that is a huge, I know these people talking to softball organizers, like they love running the tournaments. They hate organizing the tournaments because it's just so much logistical kind of fluff, right? So we thought, well, if we have that in place, when these tournaments do want to show up, we're ready to go. Yeah. Like you tell us how many kids, we figure out the budget together, and let us help you plan it. Yeah. We don't want to take over, you know, how the courts are set up.
That's our job. Yeah.
But the outlining the other experience part of it is super important, right? Yeah. That's to make sure that they want to book again and come back.
Yeah. Very cool. Next steps. What's the vision? Is there anything you want to add to the vision? Is there what's the next steps overall? Like
next steps, get these legal agreements signed with the city. I think we're like 95% of the way there. So just from a planning perspective, that's it. Then we get into
that's for the main site.
The indoor facilities, and then we get into all the fun stuff around studies and planning and permits and all that kind of stuff. But I think for Hammond Hill and the tournament facilities, we're pretty much ready to go. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hoping to have some,
because I have summer camps ready to go on my website. I did figure out how to get that done. I'm like, push the button, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, the nice thing about us at the Hill is that we're very flat. We have great drainage. We suffered a very serious catastrophic windstorm about 2 years ago now that wiped out about 10 acres of trees. At the time, itself.
So cleared it for us.
At the time, it was a disaster. Today, it's actually probably a net benefit because all the trees are gone. So if you said we needed courts tomorrow, we could probably have courts there in about a month. So. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the timing when you hit May is kind of needed by June, right?
That's right.
And end of June, beginning of July for the summer camps to start. So whatever it takes for us to get to that point, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, but the point is it's all flat. A lot of the work is done, not in anticipation of this conversation, but now that it's here, we're ready to pretty much go with it. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
For us, it's just refining the vision, figuring out what are we actually offering. Are we including the beach volleyball team? Or are we moving ahead with softball? We don't want to overextend. We want to make sure that we over deliver.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the really great thing, and I think I'm a construction guy, so I think in terms of phases for most things. So, you know, we always have the opportunity to say, like, well, let's introduce 3 courts this year, right? And we'll build in the infrastructure.
He said 8 courts.
We'll build in the infrastructure so that we have the ability to add lighting. So as the programs grow, we can add more courts. We can add pickleball. We can add paddleball too. You know, we have the ability, but today's design planning meetings all center around getting to like that 10, 15 courts. So when we build
2025,
when we build, we're always building with the idea that the next phase is ready to go, that we don't have to disrupt. Yeah. We don't have to like kick everyone off from playing tennis.
No, we just keep going. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's been that's been part of the key metrics of how we get from 0 courts to, 30 courts or whatever that looks like. So that we're not, we want to always stay open. We don't want to have to shut down to get to those next 6, 8, 10 courts, because then it's just really bad planning on our part.
That's right. And we can do it. That's easy. You have the space and you plan it out. Yeah, absolutely. And my next step with you guys is we have a meeting on the 29th, I think. Right. Yes, we're meeting as a team, and that's going to be pretty cool. We're actually going to sit down and as a group again and just go through all the, what are we going through?
strategic planning.
Strategic planning.
Yeah, it's
I might skip that.
very
meeting.
sexy topic.
I might skip that meeting because that doesn't sound like it. No, it's good. Just kidding.
Well, we did it with Julian LeBlanc, helped us out on the tiny homes,
Yeah.
and we found he's a great.
I think he's coming
mediator.
back, right? He's going to come in.
Yeah, he's an amazing mediator because he just thinks outside of the box.
Yeah.
He stands in the front of the room. We have whiteboards and paper all over the place,
Yeah.
and it's just spitballing.
Are we drawing with our left hand?
We could.
Be
Well,
creative?
actually,
Yeah.
He's left-handed, so it's not going to be that
Oh
hard.
no, you got to do right then. I got to do right. Yeah.
But I think as a mediator, he's going to really help. Get that group think, get everyone moving in different directions, out of our comfort zones, and like we have so much we can achieve, and there's so much more that we have even at this stage have not considered. And I think that's what he brings to that opportunity.
I think
awesome.
what Aaron
The corporate athlete and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what Aaron said is really the key point on this is phasing, and there's so much on the go. It's easy to get distracted. So I think we've realized that we have to take a moment and step back, and with the team and the advisors and Julian helping us out, and take a day and just, what is our mission statement? What is the vision? Where do we want to be? Just whiteboarding everything, just so we are all crystal clear on where we need to go in the next 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, and what we need to achieve that. So I think it's easy to get caught up in the day to day, and we've been fallen victim to that with everything on the go. But the ability
can't see the forest for the trees, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one of those moments, and it's gonna be a good day. I'm really excited.
Me too. Awesome.
The long-term planning, I think you said that 24-month, you get so centered on how do I achieve a tennis court? Like that's all I think about.
Yeah.
But I forget about the rest of it. And I think that's really what having a big group does is it's not just a construction meeting. It's not just a marketing meeting. It's not a tennis meeting. It's a business meeting about where we're going to be in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And that sets the tone for what our strategic goals and plans have to be today.
That's awesome. Love it. And I remember working for a Japanese company, and they had a 100-year business plan.
Really?
Did they really?
Yeah, a 100-year business plan. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I have ADHD. I can't think past
I'm
like
not sure
20
when
minutes.
they get
Yet.
to
You can tell Julian we have to do that. So.
Yeah. We'll figure that out. That's awesome. Final words. Anything you guys want to add? Is there anything you want to talk about quickly? We have a couple minutes.
For myself personally, I just can't tell you how pleased I am to be part of this. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I think it's something that really can set the tone, not just for my community, but my kids. I think these are
cool.
legacy pieces that they're not entirely business related. They're about kind of leaving a mark, and tennis gave me a lot. So it's kind of my opportunity to kind of give back to tennis. And I'm a beach volleyball player many years ago. So I just find this, like someone said, full circle earlier, and I'm feeling that in my life now too. I've done all these things to get to the point where I have some knowledge that can contribute to a project like this, and to be able to be part of it at the team building level that we are today it's beyond exciting. And I'm grateful to the city and the municipality and our municipal leaders from Clarence Rockland to give us this opportunity and to partner with us, because they certainly didn't have to, and they've gone out of their way at every step, and I mean every step, to expedite this process and to support us. And it seems like everything we've asked for, it may not be a yes, but there's always like, hey, let's look into it. Let's see where this can go.
What can we do?
Very collaborative.
Yeah. And I'm feeling that everywhere. I'm feeling with the community. I'm feeling with the group here. I'm feeling with our municipality. And that part for me, like I haven't done many things like this where it just everywhere I look is like, this is good news.
Yeah.
This is getting better.
It's a good news project.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and it seems to get better with all these meetings every
Yeah.
time. It's like, hey, we missed the boat on softball. Like I never would have in a million years.
The momentum is moving now.
Yeah.
And that's part and parcel of the people we have around us, including yourself. So thank you for being a part of this.
You're welcome. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's hurry up and get going, but I'm
You wanted it yesterday, so.
Yeah, but that's okay. Everything that's worth having takes time.
Yeah.
Right. And this will be world class. I mean, I was watching a video the other day, and one of the coaches came on, I won't name for where, and said, well, we're world class. I'm like, dude, you have no idea what world class looks like. Right. And we're going to do it. Right. And that's the cool part about our partnerships and our openness to be collaborative with other people and bring them into the game, right? And see what they're doing and learning. And that openness, I think, from all of us is what's going to set us apart.
And if you think about, I know we're out of time, but you think about our original plan, and it has evolved numerous times. And, early days, we had thought just a simple dome.
We started at the hill.
Right?
just
started the hill. But when we went to the property nearby the water, we thought, we'll just do a dome.
Yeah.
Then we researched domes, and we took our time. And we were close. We had actually talked to a few manufacturers.
Yeah.
And we realized like how much work is involved, how much noise they create, how not great they are for the environment in certain cases. And now we've evolved into a more hard structure program.
Yeah.
And these meetings, this time, all this stuff, every time it seems we sit down, the program and the plan evolves to become something better than it was before.
Yeah.
And that's how you know you're onto something really great.
Yeah.
Because had we just rushed this and made a business decision, we'd have a dome probably within 6 months.
Yeah.
But it would have been the wrong decision. And it would not have been world class.
Nope.
It would not have been able to offer volleyball. We would not have had the viewing areas and all the other stuff that we're planning now, because we have transitioned into what will be a better structure that will last longer, be more environmentally sensitive, and be more beautiful, to be fair, right?
Absolutely.
It'll be something as you're driving through Rockland on the main street, you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
We'll be the first of our kind in Canada of these structures. And I think that is what is, like, to me, that's the aha moment because of the time, because of the studies, because of the meetings. We just keep making this process better.
That's awesome. And we'll continue to do so.
Yeah.
Brad, did I put you on the spot? Anything left? Anything left to say? He's like, no, I got nothing, man. I'm done.
All been said.
Awesome.
I like chocolate.
I like chocolate. I love chocolate. Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. As I say, I'll make sure that we get all the contact information into at least the comments on the YouTube page and everywhere else we can put it, and share this as much as we can with everybody who's out there. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and look forward to speaking to you guys soon.
Thanks, Sean.